Hello, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good.
Hello and welcome to the SC Ballers Q&A podcast ahead of round 21 of NRL Supercoach. I am your host and coach of the Terrace crew, Matt Ricks. Joining me tonight to go through all your questions and hot topics is coach of the Casamanitas, former third place overall finisher, Danny Boy Ricks. Danny, mate, how are you?
Very well, Matty. Very well. Back second duo podcast of the week for me and you.
Yep.
Get the conversation flowing.
For those on YouTube, they can see you decked out in a 1993 Balmain Tigers jersey, looking resplendent. It's actually my jersey, but I'll let you have it tonight.
Well, I was going to say,
taking that over to London.
If you brought it up, I was going to say you would know a lot more about this. How old I would have been? You reckon 93, do you? So
yeah.
I would have been 7 years old. You would have been 9 years old. There's a bit of a story around it too, isn't it? How did you come across this jersey?
I rang up 2UE on their the old, like, it would be whatever the continuous call team, which exists still today on 2GB in Sydney. But yeah, I rang up that, and I remember I told Ray Hadley that I thought that sin bins could be 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes when I was 9, and he told. And he came back at me with something like, if your mum sends you to your room, it should be for 20 minutes, shouldn't it, mate? And I was like, yeah, probably. And they're like, you can win a jersey. And they sent me a Balmain. They said, which team do you support? And for some reason at the time, I have no idea why, I went for Balmain. And they sent me the jersey, but it was about 17. It was a men's jersey, so it actually came in very handy later on playing footy for footy training and stuff. And you've still got it today, 32 years later. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's still a bit loose fitting, but this is when they build jerseys to last. It's still in great condition.
It is so good. You've got to bring that down for Magic Round one year.
Yeah, well, this would be the jersey I would wear. Like, I'm very glad I stole it. Definitely stole it off you. I was a Broncos supporter growing up. It was Alfie Langer.
Yeah,
absolutely loved him. Don't tell many people this, but I'm saying it on a podcast. But I used to go for Queensland when I was up until I was about 8 or 9 years old, I think.
Yep.
And then I kind of realised what I was doing halfway through.
Yeah.
All my mates are New South Welshmen. I was a New South Welshman, and allegiances crossed after a while. Went back to the Sharkies. No,
that's fair enough. Alfie was one of a kind, that's for sure. Dan, we've got to get into the questions tonight, but before we do, we've got the watch along tonight. Physio, Aman, it's going to be huge. We're broadcasting, streaming across all our YouTube, X and Facebook channels. Cannot wait for that one. You might pop in, Dan, if you get some time in between patients.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to just listening. I might chime in a bit in the comments, but two of my favourite guys across the Supercoach fantasy scene, Aman and Physio, both very good men. Both been on previously, but the first time they're together. So yeah, should be great.
Yeah, it should be good to get Aman's take on Supercoach EPL, which launched yesterday as well. Going to be interesting with the rolling lockouts there. It's going to suit you, Dan, I think, in London.
Yeah, well, I do it to you a little bit here, don't I? I'm like, if Talakai's named on the bench, can you switch him over? I'm just keen to go to bed, and I'm not really looking for those 4 a.m. wake ups. So yeah, I'm sure you'll be sending your plans out early morning Saturdays.
It's going to be a nightmare. I think I might have to stick to draft, but we'll see how we go. Sign up today, baller.live if you haven't already. The Run Home Challenge is well underway. We got some great prizes. The merch has dropped at Baller Towers, Dan, so you'll be receiving some of yours soon if we can afford the postage. But we'll be giving away merch packs every week to the winner of the Run Home Challenge now. And we've got the player stats table. We got the live scores. We've got everything. You just got to be signed up at baller.live. Still plenty of time left in the season to do so. All right, Dan, kicking off tonight with a very interesting first question from Gaz on X. He's asking, would we rather win NRL Supercoach or our team win a premiership? And by our team, we're talking here the Cronulla Sharks, Dan. How do you think about that one?
I'd rather win Supercoach. Like, if I'm being honest, like we were there together at the 2016 Sharks Premiership. Great day, absolutely fantastic event. Very, very good. Sharks getting their first premiership, but I don't think I'd care too much about the second. In terms of if I've been number one for about 8 weeks in Supercoach, and geez, that was good times. Everyone asking advice. Everyone, people were coming out of the woodwork asking me. So I was on a high for that, and obviously got third place. You've been up top, and I've never seen you so excited. You're on about 8 podcasts the week you were coming 6. So yeah, it would be a great feeling to win it. And now we're with the Baller Boys. I think that would just top it off. What about yourself?
I'd rather win Supercoach too. I will say though that I think if it wasn't for 2016, that would be different. Like 2016 was so special for the Sharks. I wouldn't give that back to win Supercoach, put it that way. So I think that's all contextual to your team and the situation they're in terms of how long since they've won a premiership. And like I would say we're big Sharks supporters, but I wouldn't call us die hard, the hardcore of the hardcore Sharks fans. So
I'll tell you what, I would use the 50K to just give to the Sharks to buy it, top up maybe someone like Tolutau Kula or something like that. Just say I'll add a little 50 in cash bonus to if you just please pick up a good fullback.
Maybe to buy out some of Bubba's contract. All right, let's get into the Supercoach questions, Dan. And the burning issue this week is Cleary versus Edwards. A lot of people are looking to buy one or the other. Zach on Instagram asks, is it Cleary or Edwards at the flex for the run home? And Brendan Fenton asks, if you can only get one, is it Edwards or Cleary? I already own Cleary, Dan. I have to decide whether I'm getting Edwards or not this week. I think this is all related to how well you're set up in those. We've spoken about these 5 positions ad nauseum, the 2 halves, the 2 fullbacks, and the flex. I think it really depends who you have there. How would you be approaching a Cleary versus Edwards in a vacuum?
So in a vacuum, I would be leaning Cleary. That's what I'm doing this week. I don't own either, and I'm going for Nathan Cleary in my flex position. Not because I don't think Dylan Edwards is going to go well. I just feel I've missed him. I'm just jumping on when everybody already got that huge score last week. I don't want to touch that now and just jump on with everyone else. I feel the best people set up are obviously the ones who bought Dylan Edwards last week, and I would definitely be looking to get Cleary in this week. That's the difficult thing, is who do you drop this week? If you're short on trades, that's even harder. Like dropping someone like Hines or Hughes, you definitely wouldn't be dropping Hines this week against Souths. So it would likely be Hughes if you're running 3 fullbacks. So that would be tough if you don't have trades. But if you're flush with trades, I'd be pulling the trigger on that one. So Cleary, if you have to choose between them, and I probably wouldn't pick up Dylan Edwards if I already had Cleary.
I think if you were thinking about that decision, I would want it seems like Edwards might kick this week, which is obviously pretty enticing in a good matchup versus the Tigers. NRL Physio mentioned on another podcast that Cleary would have to improve. We'll talk about this on the watch along tonight as well with Physio, because I think he's got a bit of an in there at Penrith. But I think as long as Cleary's kicking from next week, I think that's very straightforward. That it's Cleary's the pickup out of the 2 of them. If we've got Cleary kicking from this week, we've got him projected to be averaging 16 points more than Edwards on the run home, 93 to 77. So that's pretty clear cut, but that's obviously in the context of him kicking this week as well. So that might not happen. There are worlds where maybe Edwards kicks for another couple of weeks, which would be a shocker for those who don't own. But yeah, I'm with you. I'd be Cleary over Edwards in terms of which one I want to pick up for the run home, and people are getting low on trades. Haydos Dan asks, who is the better trade out option to get Cleary, Hughes or Teddy? This is a really interesting one with Teddy's form. He says that he has Hines, Edwards, and Drinkwater as well. So he's pretty well set up with Edwards, Drinky, and Hines there. He wants Cleary. I think, Dan, that you have to back Teddy to outscore Hughes on the run home. I know the form hasn't quite been there, but we're talking sort of very different levels of Supercoach assets here, I think.
Yeah. Teddy is the master chef of the Roosters as well. So if they're on fire, he's scoring points. I would much prefer him over Hughes for the run home. If you're only choosing one and you're obviously low on trades, Hughes is a chance of a rest as well. Teddy is not going to rest.
Yep.
So, he's had a couple of down weeks. A little bit, I think of that is just the new connections, bringing in Walker. figuring things out a little bit potentially. He has, he's still got attacking stats in him. He's got those big base gains as well. Hughes does have a lower floor, I think, than Teddy. So, yeah, definitely lead Teddy there. Keeping Teddy.
The tricky bit there, Dan, like what would you do if you wanted to go Hughes? So Hughes is averaging projected average 70 on the run home at baller, and we've got Teddy expected average 82. Now, just on Hughes, Dan, that's a really interesting one because they've obviously got a little bit of a tougher matchup with the Roosters this week. Then they play the Eels next week. So if you're thinking about Hughes to Cleary, would you just pull the trigger on that this week? Or would you give it a week, see how you feel next week, see about the kicking situation at Penrith, and maybe give Hughes one more run out against Parramatta, or is Cleary too paramount in this situation?
Well, it's probably a bit throwback to last week and say, do you give Dylan Edwards, just see how he goes, see if he's got the kick in last week? And obviously the obvious answer was stuff it, buy him.
Yeah.
So Cleary's in the same boat. They say he has the kicking, they're playing Tigers, they might towel him up. They're obviously in good form, Penrith. He's got a point to prove post-Origin. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably just pull the trigger and jump on Cleary, get ahead of the game.
I agree. I think I'd still back Cleary to outscore Hughes this week, regardless, without the kicking. So I think you want to maximise Cleary's good lineups. Cleary's got the ceiling still in these games too, so I'd be on board with that. And I think it's clearly Hughes over Tedesco. Look, there might be something going on with Teddy, but that we don't know about. His form certainly has been poor the last few weeks, but I think, like we said on the Tuesday pod, we've got to bounce Teddy to bounce back. Like, we know who Teddy is, and we know he's a superstar. So, yep, I'm leaning there. All right, Luke Navi on X asked Dan. He says he has 10 trades in the bank, and he's thinking about using one trade Teddy for Cleary. Plan would be to bring back Teddy for Jerome in a few weeks' time when the Storm's draw tightens up. What do you think? That's an interesting one with heaps of trades in the bank. I don't mind a bit of gun flipping with that many trades. I'm not sure that I would move Teddy to Cleary, though. I think I'd rather just go save a trade there and just go Cleary straight for Hughes.
Yeah, it's not bad thinking. I like that. Though. That's like kind of thinking against the grain. You're looking at if everyone gets rid of Hughes and you're holding on. Like that's really good. And congratulations on having 10 trades. I don't know how you've still got that. But yeah, I don't mind that thinking. It's a pretty good way to play Supercoach.
All right, sit start dilemmas, Dan. Jace on Instagram. He's saying don't ask, but Appy or Sandon. So he's obviously got both of those guys. He's got to decide. Appy is projected 55 points in 60 minutes. Sandon projected 57 in 80 minutes. Damn, but it's worth noting that's with goal kicking. So a bit of uncertainty over who'll kick for the Chooks there. What would be your call on Appy versus Sandon?
Yeah, it's really tough. The more I think about it, the more even it really looks. On paper, without the goal kicking, Sandon does have a low floor. I think Appy has shown that his floor is lowish this year, but I would bank on him. He based last week 50 and 60 minutes. I don't think he's getting less than 60 minutes. And we know he's got a bit of an attacking stat in him. So I think Appy's the safer play. And if you're just really going for it, Sandon and Appy are both pods. So if you're well down in the ranks, you could even play both of them. But I'd probably slightly lean towards Appy there.
Yeah, I'd go Appy just with the uncertainty over the kicking. Sandon also has a very low floor in these games. He needs at least one attacking stat to sort of get up to that 50-60 range. So, yeah, I'd be with Appy there as well, Jace. Pete Campbell on X asks, with Sandon back this week, I think I'll hold off at hooker on a hooker trade. He's got Starling there at hooker too. So thinking Keon to Carrigan and Lucas to Yo and Billy Smith to Gags. So he's going to boost. So he's pressing up. I like those trades. He's saying, if I did that, would you play Marky Mark or Gags? This is an easy one, Dan.
Gagai.
Every day of the week. Gagai, 78 projected. Marky Mark, 62. Marky Mark is going to go off again. There's no doubt about that. And it's going to be pain for sit starters. I've got no doubt. But, yeah, Storm is still a tough matchup. Even though maybe it's not as tough as it's been, it's still a tough matchup. So Gagai is just a beast at fullback. So I'm playing I'm never sitting Gagai, Dan.
Yeah. And just on those two forward bring-ins, Yo
Yep.
and Carrigan. I don't see that as a bad option now because second row has just changed completely with these guys going down. And I don't think you can get more rock solid floor, high floor guys than Yo and Carrigan. They're just going to churn out 70 for you.
You're going to get 70.
Huge.
You're going to get a 70 average out of both of them.
Yeah, and huge value at the 500s, both of them, I think. So, just lock that in and maybe make some big pod power moves late in the season.
I love those trades. I love all three of those trades. He's done well there, Pete. Well done. All right, on to the 2RF and front row forward now, Dan, because this is another big talking point this week. Everyone's looking to offload Keon, Dylan Lucas, and some people Tino as well, and with big pain on the menu for most teams. It's a very interesting couple of positions. So Ryan Highway asks, hey boys, probably a common question here, but I'm a Tino, Keon, and Lucas owner. ECAT and Fiketti are his only surviving 2RFs. He's trying to decide between Yo, Wilton, Garner, or Nanai. Thoughts? Did I miss any obvious ones? Cheers. This is super interesting. There are so many options at 2RF. There's obviously Hudson Young as well, Dan, Gus Crichton, Jaden Sewer, Beau Fermor. It's a it's a smorgasbord of slightly underwhelming options.
Yeah. In terms of those options, so Yo, Wilton, Garner, and Nanai, I would probably go Yo as the number one there. I'd go Nanai for the pod, but you do need to be careful and count your Cowboys. I'm assuming it's probably only Drinkwater and Nanai that most people would run for the run home. Someone like myself, I've got Purdue as well, so I can't really touch Nanai. Garner, I think he's still got a bit of an audition for that back row spot.
Yeah,
so
that's too much up in the air this week.
I think also back end of season, although they won't be resting, I think they will be resting minutes a little bit. So they could swing those second rows around. We saw it with Sorensen earlier in the year. He wasn't the 80-minute guy every week. So it could be very similar to Garner. Garner does cover center as well, which maybe isn't that bad, but his base output's going to go down a little bit if someone goes down and he goes out. So yeah, hold off on Garner. And Wilton obviously had a good score, but you're probably in for a 50 most weeks and not a huge amount of attack this year.
You're never going to want to play Wilton, in my mind. I know they've got a good run coming up. I think Yo is a clear standout there. Nanai is a great option, but it's full of risk. His floor is lower than any of these guys. So I wouldn't be going there. Hudson Young, Dan, I still think he's a good option. I think, like we said, he had 65 in base plus power on the weekend. I thought he would be more purchased. I would say that Yo is the best purchase at 2RF this week, and then I'm looking at Hudson Young, even Carrigan. I still really like Carrigan as well. So that's where I'd be looking. Jay Bluffmaster 29, one of our favs on X, asks, hey boys, I was hoping to save my final boost for the last two rounds. However, I'm in a situation where I want to bring in Brayley and Haas. Third trade is Yo for the cash. Would you rip the boost and get both or save? Great question, Dan. I'd be ripping. I'd be launching that boost as quickly as I possibly could to maximize the value of it. And I love those three trades that he's talking about there, Brayley, Haas, and Yo.
Yeah, boosted Bluffmaster. Enough said. Don't need boosts. I actually, last year, funnily enough, I held a boost through the whole year because it got down to those last few rounds and you kind of didn't need to make three at one time. Because of the up in the air of the last round. So it's very hard to want to boost or make three trades because, a couple of them could get rested the week after. So use it now. You won't regret it.
Peps to Coglu, Dan on X asks, do we think Hudson Young is worth the 80K over Sewer? Could also mean the difference in getting Gagai or Burns, Ronaldo, Talakai as my 6th centre wing. I had a look at this, Dan. Baller projections have Hudson Young averaging 76 on the run home and Sewer averaging 71. So based off that, I'm going to say no, he's not worth the 80K. Then you throw in the Hudson Young buy where you'll have to play someone else. Obviously, you don't just lose the 76 out of your score that week. You get someone else into your team who's probably going to be in the 60s. So I think that really evens it out. I love Sewer pod. I think he's an exceptional pod pickup. I should have mentioned him in those other options before. The tricky thing with Sewer is just that little bit more expensive, but you're going to get him all to yourself. So I think it's worth a punt over Hudson there, Dan.
I always like that, like, two trade play, and you've got to look at your two trades as a combination of players. And if you said Jaden Sewer and Gagai versus Hudson Young and Ronaldo, I think you're looking at option one there. I think you've got the security of Sewer with the big upside of Gagai, both secure players. So, yeah, I'd probably lean towards go secure with the 80 minutes guy, even though he's in a team like the Dragons, which aren't going to get as much tack as Raiders, just with the quality of the teams there. I'd still probably prefer the upside of Gagai with the security in your centre wing.
Yeah, I'm just filtering down, Dan, on the NRL, the Supercoach player stats table on baller.live. And we can see that on 3-round averages, Jaden Sewer's got a 3-round base plus power of 68, which is up on his 58 for the year. So he's coming into good form. He's over that injury clearly now. We know he's got that attacking upside, and we spoke about Flano feeding him good ball on the right. So, yeah, I'm all in on Sewer. I would love to get him. It's just the price is just a bit tricky, and it all cost me Brayley. So I've got some thinking to do. Yeah, it's just probably not going to work out for me this week. I think Yo is still a better buy at the price, just given the price. But if you're shopping that bit higher, I couldn't put anyone off Sewer. Reg Reagan, Dan, one of our other favs, he said he's into the top 500. Well done, Reg. He's bringing in Payne Haas this week. To get Haas, should I trade Tino or Starling? And Starling would be via Kalani going. Very interesting question, this one, Dan. I think that's a little bit depth dependent. Trading out Starling means you lose a hook. It means you'd have to make another trade at hooker at some point. But Tino, if you trade him, then you don't get him back for those final 3 rounds. Bit of question marks over how fit it'll be, but that is an extra player that you'll have if in case of restings in those last few rounds. Also worth noting that Sharks have that bye in 25, which is when Tino's due back. So squads might be struggling a little bit if they're exposed on Sharks.
Yeah, it depends on his depth at hooker. I'd probably assume he's got Watson as well. So he's probably got Watson and Going or something
Brayley,
like that.
if he's moving up into the top 500.
Yeah, if you got Brayley, like, get rid of Starling. I see that as just a power move. You'll never play Starling. He's still got a bye to go as well.
So do the Sharks, though. So you have to take an AE that week.
Yeah, I mean, against Starling, though, like,
That's
teams
fine.
are pretty stacked. I think that's okay.
That's fine.
But, yeah, Tino's a tough one. I think, did it say how many trades? It doesn't say how many trades he's got left there, but I'm holding Tino purely because I don't have the trades to get him out.
Agree. If I had trades, I'd have no problem trading Tino. Like, if I had 8 or 9 trades, I'd trade Tino, but I've only got 5, so that's an easy hold for me there, especially when you got other people to trade out. Yep. Luke Kirkdan, if you can only choose one this week, is it Haas or Lomax? Great question. 2 of the premium options.
Ooh. Lomax.
Oh,
no
really?
injury cloud, killing it against the best sides. They're both essential, so you're going to want both of them, I think, in the next couple of weeks. But I think I'd go Lomax this week.
I'd be Haas this week if I had to choose. I'm feeling very snug with having both of them. But
what about a little side bet, Matty? I'll post this jersey back to you if Haas beats Lomax this week.
You don't have to do that, but I'll have a side bet. I'll have a side bet with you. I'll bet you the postage on your baller merch.
Right.
With 8 trades left, this is from Purple Cobra on X. With 8 trades left, he's positioned about 2,000-ish. I want to go hard at the Panthers draw over the next 3 weeks. So thoughts on these trades? He's trading Keon, Paps, and Teddy for Haas, Edwards, and Cleary. So yeah, he's really putting the foot down there. And then he said he can bring in Turbo if he's set to fire once Manly's run gets easier for the final 4 weeks. So 8 trades, Dan, is the important number there. I like those trades. I don't know about Teddy for Edwards. I think I would just try and back Teddy to beat Edwards, but I'd go with the other 2.
Yeah, agree. I think it's waste Edwards to Teddy to Edwards. Sorry, I don't. Even with 8 trades left, I think you've got some other pod moves you could go for there.
And like we spoke about, like Edwards obviously 173, but you kind of got to back the players you've got. It's not like, again, it's Dylan Edwards, right? Like, we know who Dylan Edwards is. He can have some amazing Supercoach games, but that's still a massive outlier game for him. He's obviously he could go huge again this year. So I don't like this week. I don't want to write that off or anything, but I'm just saying that it's if Dylan Edwards was such a good option, everyone would have owned for a lot of the year. So yeah, I'd be a little bit careful on Teddy to Edwards for anyone out there. I'm kind of, especially when we're so low on trade, so you can use that trade elsewhere, and you just got to hope that Teddy can beat him. I think it's what, like, I think it's like 55-45 that Edwards beats Teddy. So and maybe it's even closer. Teddy could be favourite. So yeah, let's we'll see how that goes. All right, Danny on Instagram. This was a long message, so I'm just going to summarise it. He loves a DM, Danny, and we love him sending them in. So he said he's sitting about 4K ranks with 3 trades, a boost, and 105K in the bank. So this is the scenario you found yourself in, Danny. He's got the boost, but he's only got 3 trades left. At 105K, and he's saying he might have to play Riley Smith, Kane Bradley, or LKT unless he makes a second trade. First trade is Kaloamatangi to Haas, and then the options are second trade, Asako to Brayley or Gagai, or use a boost to get both, considering trading Tino, but leaning towards holding. Definitely hold Tino with 3 trades. Kaloamatangi to Haas, no-brainer. I think you've just got to hold the other trades, Dan. What do you think? There's 2 trades. I think you've just got to bite the board and go, yep, LKT, you're getting a little trot out this week.
Yeah, jeez. That's a long question. I don't know how the listeners are still reading that. I'm trying to... That was the short version as well?
That was the short version.
Yeah, look, just to make it easy, do the Kaloamatangi to Haas. Yep. Save the other 2 trades. You're going to need them. You're going to definitely need them. You don't need to get fancy.
You don't need to trade Asako. Asako's a fine hold.
Yeah, absolutely fine. I'd be holding Asako in my position. I've got 5 trades left, so I'm using 2 this week. I would definitely be holding Asako if I could. He's going to be really good on matchups, and he's been unlucky the last 4 or 5 rounds. He scored 1 try, I think. So Dolphins have attack in him. I'd be very happy to hold Asako back end.
Old mate on X asked Dan, he's got tons and tons of Sharks. So he says, don't ask how, but I've got Hines, Ramian, Ronnie, and Talakai. And he also got Nickera last week. Yep. Should I play them all against Souths, or is that too many if Sharks don't show up? I'd be playing all my Sharks this week. I'd be worried about how many I own there, but I would be playing every single one of them.
Yep. You've got Nickera out with the head knock, I believe.
Yep.
Ramian he went with hamstring tightness. I haven't heard how he is, but there is probably a chance he doesn't back up or he doesn't play this week. Ronnie and Talakai, it's this week. It is the week for Talakai. I've been waiting for 3 or 4 rounds. His base plus power has been over 50 plus the last 3 rounds. He has had 0 attack. He is about to go off. So load up on that left edge for Sharkies.
All right, Dan, into captains now, and we'll get through a couple of questions around captains before we talk about our own. Livingston asks, who to captain, Cleary, Edwards, or Hines? And Outsider Doctor asks, why is Hines not the best captain this week? So interesting spin there. Let's start it with the Cleary, Edwards, or Hines conundrum. This really comes down to information we get about the kicking tee, isn't it, Dan, at Penrith?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the other alternative to those is going to be Drinkwater with the Dragons at home, back to the combination that he likes with a Purgey back at centre. But it's going to be very safe to have a combination of one Panther in Edwards or Cleary as your VC and then Hines C. I think that's probably the option you're looking at there. I don't know. If I didn't captain Hines, I'd probably go for one of those Panthers boys and Drinkwater VC.
Yeah. I think if you knew Cleary was kicking, he would be the standout captain this week. He's got the highest baller projection currently. We've got the kicking on him from a projection standpoint, just with the uncertainty, but we'll flip that around if we do find out that Edwards is kicking. So he's projected 102 points at the moment, Cleary. Edwards is projected 81 without the kicking, but with the kicking, that goes to 97. So I think definitely that one of those two, if they're kicking, is the best captain. In saying that, with the way the games shape up, I'd be vice captaining both, just given the uncertainty around the goal kicking as well, and then captaining Hines. Hines is a great captain. He's projected 95. playing the decimated bunnies. I like your shout out with Drinky as well. Dan, 94, projected 94, playing the Dragons. I'm going to be looking at one of Drinky or Cleary for VC, and then Hines C. Feels pretty straightforward. But yeah, would there be anyone you'd be looking there away from those four, Dan, as a captain possibility?
Not particularly. Like, I think Raiders have a decent matchup, but Knights have not really been giving away a huge amount of Supercoach points there. Warriors, I don't think there's anyone really from that team. I mean, Broncos are probably a good one. If you've got someone like a Reece Walsh, I think that's a great shout for a VC option. The interesting thing about the Cleary vice captain is not many people who own Edwards will be able to do the VC on Cleary, because most will have three fullbacks. So that means you've got either Hines or Cleary in your halfback spot. So that's why I really like it. I'm going to have Cleary in my flex. So I really like the advantage of having both halfbacks as the VC and C options this week.
Really worth noting though, Dan, that you're going to have everything lined up with who you're going to sit, who you're going to put in as your captain if you want to loop Hines or Edwards, Cleary or Edwards, because they play 5:30 and then Hines is on at 7:30. So it's straight. You're going to have about a 5 to 10 minute window to get all that sorted out. So you really got to be ready to go with your moves there and have your alarms set up. So yeah, Dan, trades this week. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just going hard for the final week of hard trading, full trading for me. I've got two trades. Hudson Young in for Kaloamatangi. I'm in a similar situation to one of the questioners. I've got Lucas, Kaloamatangi and Tino. So I'm getting rid of Lucas and Kaloamatangi and bringing in Cleary and Hudson Young. Going for the high upside, just pushing. I'll have 100K left over, and I'll probably look to solidify second row forward in the next couple of weeks with a Watson or a Yo.
Yep. Myself, I am going Keon out, so likely only one trade. I've only got 5 trades left, so I really only want to have to make one this week. I could get extra aggressive and trade Tino out for a second, but I just don't think it's worth the squeeze there, especially with everything I said about getting Tino back. So I'm currently doing Keon to Blake Brayley via Connor Watson. So up at hooker there, that will leave me with Brayley and Starling at hooker, and then I'll have Connor down in the 2RF. My other option, that will leave me with only 127K in the bank. My other option is to go Keon to Isaiah Yo, which frees up a lot of cash, and I'll have close to 300K in the bank there. And that just gives me a lot more optionality for my next trade. You know, I could trade Oren Keely up to a gun 2RF, or whatever else I might want to do, whatever carnage this weekend throws at us. So I just got to weigh up the benefit of having that cash versus the obvious good run that Brayley has here and the new role that he has. So it's a bit of a tough one. I'm going to have a good stew on that.
What's your current 2RF situation? How many have you got?
So I've only got 3 playing this week once I make a trade. So I've got 2 playing as it stands with no trades, which are Hudson Young and Eli Katoa. Mm-hmm. Then I've got Keon, Tino, Oren Keely, and Tukey Simpkins. So I need to make one trade. I need to bring in a back rower basically this week, or take an AE. Suppose that's an option too, but I just don't see the point. Like, Keon has to go. So I may as well bring in Brayley or Yo this week in one trade and fill that out.
I'd probably be pushing rather than Brayley at 700K, probably just to back Watson to match him in the back end. And I'd probably solidify or pump up your second row there.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've been thinking about it nonstop for the last 48 hours since we did the last pod. So another 48 hours to decide. It's actually longer. It's bloody. I don't have to decide until 5:30 on Saturday. Oh no, yeah, Southside played all then. So yeah, crazy. Penrith is the first one. So yeah, that's it, Dan. That was a good pod. Nice and quick, and hopefully we answered a lot of the burning questions. Some really big topics this week around Cleary, Edwards, and then the best replacements in the 2RF. So yeah, appreciate your time this morning and over there at night time in London, and enjoy the rest of the evening in that spectacular Balmain Tigers jersey.
Yeah, cheers, Matty. I will be back in a bounce back from the Terrace crew for yourself this week. I'm really, really hoping you kick some goals. It's a big drop to go from 6th to 36th, is it? 30 spots when you're up there? 30 seconds. Sorry. But yeah, big bounce back this week. Pot up if you can. Go Nick Meaney.
Let's go get him. Go Nick. Oh, how do we get through this whole podcast without talking about Nick Meaney? Nearly did it. Unbelievable. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and make sure you tune in for the watch along tonight. You beauty.
You're beauty.